Danielle Alvarez. Danielle, we'll start there. You know, we have this huge strike going on. We haven't heard from Mayor Pete at all. And then we find out, where is he? He's helping Tim Walz prepare for this debate. Those are the priorities of this current administration.
I mean, they've been in office for 3.5 years. We've seen failure after failure. It just feels like our nation is on fire, and they're focused on the wrong things. They are not leaders. And that is why you are seeing President Trump take the lead, because voters, Americans, miss his leadership, miss his strength, and miss the prosperity that they were under when he was in the White House.
Yeah. Can I just add, by the way, it's so nice to see you in person.
I know.
This is our first time
to
meeting
be here,
in person,
yes.
and you've been on the show for years now. It's great to see you. Congratulations. Danielle told us this morning that she has a 4-year-old, but also a 10-month-old.
Yeah.
And I had no idea you were pregnant, and you were on with us for the entirety of your when you were pregnant. So congratulations.
Thank you.
To you. Can I just ask you, as somebody who's close to the former president and somebody who's close to the numbers, the internal numbers that the New York Times isn't considering when they're releasing poll after poll after poll, how are things looking? Where do things stand in this race right now, in your opinion?
I'll be very candid. It's going to be a close election. Every vote is going to matter. We know ballots have dropped in several states, and for overseas voters, for military voters, we need everyone to make a plan to vote and to get involved. But we do feel good. There are numbers, as you see, where President Trump is performing better with minority voters, Black voters, Hispanic voters, young voters, and all of that makes a difference. Even in the latest CNN poll, he's performing 2 points better than he did in 2016 with female voters. So we're cutting into those margins everywhere, and it's because those issues that matter most to Americans, inflation, the economy, crime and safety, the open border, the chaos that Kamala Harris has shepherded in from abroad, all of that matters, and President Trump has a track record of leading and can fix it come November when he's elected.
Danielle, I'm paid to read the tea leaves. Charlotte, you are too. We were talking about this Bloomberg poll yesterday, came out on Sunday. So 7 out of 7 swing states are tied, according to Bloomberg. Trump was down in North Carolina. That was the only state. Then you look at what happened with this hurricane, and my goodness, that's got to impact the way people vote. The fact that Kamala Harris was on a podcast out raising money in Las Vegas this weekend while Americans were dying, hundreds are still missing. Donald Trump on the ground yesterday. Joe Biden, our vacant commander-in-chief, was literally sitting on the beach over the weekend while Americans were suffering across parts of 6 states, including battleground North Carolina.
It's absolutely devastating. There's no leadership in this country. We see that President Trump is always willing to show up. He's always, even in a moment where he's not in office, he's willing to show up. He's willing to help. He's willing to listen. He started a GoFundMe page backed by our chief fundraiser, Meredith O'Rourke. And it's collected, this morning when I checked at about 5 a.m., $1.2 million.
So I've been following along during our show, just during the show. It's now up to 1.7 million.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah,
and we thank everyone who donates and is involved in helping with that recovery. My sister lives in Western North Carolina. You know, it's absolutely devastating, the stories that you're hearing. The president was in Valdosta, Georgia, on the ground firsthand. We'll have a bus tour with Laura Trump, our amazing co-chair of the RNC, where she'll be on the ground too. That's what leadership is. That is what our country is hungry for.
Well, sorry, Charlotte, go.
No, I was just going to say, what are you hearing? He's on the ground, and you were just mentioned that your sister's from Western North Carolina. I hope that she's doing okay. I know it's just been devastated there. What is he seeing from people on the ground? What are you guys hearing from people there? Because we seem to think it matters. It matters when someone who's in a position of power goes to these places, talks to these people. We haven't seen Kamala Harris doing this. This is the role of empathizer in chief of what we've been saying. And he knows how to do that. And I have to think that he's reaching out to voters in those states especially.
He absolutely is. I mean, we know that many communities have been devastated. Roads have been wiped out. I mean, I'm originally a Floridian, so I understand firsthand the impact of hurricanes and the impact of leadership in those devastating moments, not only to shepherd in resources, but to shepherd in hope. And I keep using that keyword leadership because, as you mentioned, Biden is sitting on a beach. We saw, Kamala was fundraising, but she managed to get a photo op on a plane, with a really pensive pose. It's really devastating to those who are stranded, who are stuck, maybe don't have power, and the hundreds of people whose bodies haven't been found. We're praying for those families and we're praying for those communities.